How to make the world a better place. Do you think the world can become a better place? Although many of you folks think it can't. Well, guess what? You are wrong. How to make the world a better place is a question many ponder. The world is now horrible because of things that we did in the past and things that we are doing right now. The future of the world doesn't have to suffer the consequences that resulted from our actions. The world can become better in many ways if there is no racism, poverty, and no communism. Addressing the scourge of racism. One way to make our world a better place is to erase all forms of racism from our world. Racism is when people are being discriminated or judged due to the color of their skin. Racism can come in many shapes and sizes, like the words people say or the actions they do. Racism can end if there are certain laws put to stop these actions. For example, if someone says something of offense to a particular race, they should be charged, they should be tried at court, and they should potentially be placed in jail. This would stop people from using profanity and offensive language because they would be cautious of what they do. Changing the laws can also stop people from committing vile actions against people of color. One specific example of this can be police brutality. If there are stricter punishments against officers who are bashing, hurting, and killing innocent people, then we are one step closer to destroying racism. Racism is definitely one of the world's biggest setbacks and must be put to an end if we wish to move forward. Aside from racism, poverty must also be stopped so that we can live in a better place. If people live in poverty, then they don't have enough money to afford basic human needs like food or water. We, as the human race, can be heroes to these people. We should donate to multiple charities that help out people in need, so that those people would be able to get more money to buy things like food and clothes. We could also donate food items to a food drive, so that people who are not that wealthy can get food items for cheaper prices. Another thing we can do is to help out people who are living their lives out in the streets. These people don't have jobs, safe places to rest, or accessibility to food. Even though some people do help them out, there are still a ton of people who don't. Middle-class people can give smaller donations to these homeless people, such as a couple of dollars or even some food or drinks. People who are filthy rich can give bigger gifts, such as taking them to buy brand new clothes, or giving them enough money for a week's worth of food, and giving them enough money to stay in a hotel or motel. By doing actions like these, poverty would be killed and we would be another step closer to a better world. Finally, to achieve a better world, we must change the way some countries operate, specifically communist countries. Communist countries like North Korea are part of the reason why we don't live in a safe world. The way these leaders treat their citizens and their neighboring countries can sometimes be very dangerous, as it leads to people living in fear of their own home and dreading the fact that wars may start soon. The leaders of these countries must realize that they are not running their country properly, which overall negatively impacts the rest of the world. Even in the past, communist countries never showed any positive effects on the world. Look at Nazi Germany, for example. They were a communist country believing that people who are Jewish are not suitable to live, so they started killing all of them, starting the Holocaust. This in turn caused World War II, which was a period of time where people were dying every day, they were struggling to get food, and they were having trouble supporting family. Do events like this really need to happen again? Hasn't humanity suffered enough? If communist countries continue to do what they do, then we will never get to live in a peaceful world. In conclusion, the world would be a better place if racism, poverty, and communist countries are stopped. Our world has already gone through a lot of trauma from these three things, and by stopping them, we can live peacefully as our ancestors once did. When will these things be stopped? How long must we wait in order to be happy? Well, this issue can only be solved if we all come together as one. So let's get to work. God has given humans many blessings in health, body, and mind, and has given these blessings for humans to take advantage of in order to make the world a better place. The phenomena surrounding us enriches our mind with information and influence our thinking about what is going on around us. the world is considered to be a beautiful place put together by humans. Its population is about 7.7 billion as of November 2019. Unfortunately, the world is not considered as a safe place anymore due to humans' choices, which have caused the world to suffer. As said by the Prophet Mohammed, peace be upon him, people are equal as the toothcomb. The major problems that are facing our world today are racial discrimination, human trafficking, and global warming. Racial discrimination is the unfairness in treatment based on the group, class, or category to which the person is perceived to belong. Discrimination based on skin color, most likely to be dark-skinned people, while privileging those with lighter skin. Those darker-skinned people tend to receive smaller incomes, lower marriage rates, longer prison terms, and fewer jobs. Discrimination based on skin color has existed for centuries. Analysis has shown that it is particularly in and out of Black America. As well as discrimination based on religion, it is a person's right to believe in whatever religion or belief they follow. Religious discrimination can occur in many places like workplaces, when providing goods, facilities or services, and in schools or colleges. It is against the law for a restaurant to refuse to serve someone, or for a hotel to refuse to give a room because of their religion or belief. As well as being treated unfairly in a workplace because of religious issues, this is known as harassment. In schools or college, it would be considered as bullying. The origin of human life is the communication and coexistence between communities through several common denominators, which work in activating positive coexistence, which is not limited to a specific area, but in many areas of cooperation between people and communities, whether religious, social, or economic. Human trafficking, an invisible crisis. Another major drawback that our world is facing these days is labor trafficking. Labor trafficking is a form of human trafficking in which individuals perform labor or services through force, fraud, or coercion. Traffickers often set up their victims by using high-paid fraudulent job offers. This can happen by staffing agencies, word of mouth, advertisements, and online. It is outlined by the Human Trafficking Hotline as the use of violence, threats, lies, and other forms of coercion to force people to work against their will in many industries. Common kinds of labor trafficking include people forced to work in homes as servants, as well as farm workers forced to harvest crops through violence, or manufacturing employees working in brutal conditions with very little quantity of cash. Global warming and environmental threats. Another crucial factor is the environmental issues that are caused by humans doing. One of the major issues is global warming. It happens once carbon dioxide, air pollutants, and greenhouse gases collect within the atmosphere and absorb daylight and radiation that have bounced off the Earth's surface. This is called the greenhouse effect. Common issues are the burning of fossil fuels to make electricity, and it is the largest source of heat-trapping pollution. Coal-burning power plants are one of the biggest polluters as well. On the other hand, climate change can cut back on food availability and affect it. The increase in temperatures, changes in precipitation patterns, changes in extreme weather, and reductions in water convenience could all lead to reduced agricultural productivity. Education, through the addition of materials to the educational system of children from a young age, to deal with how to preserve the environment and build friendship with the surrounding environment. Develop legislation and incentives to preserve the environment. Participation of civil society organizations in the preservation of the environment through the dissemination of publications and awareness sessions, in addition to the work of environmental workshops. In conclusion, even if the world looks beautiful, there are many aspects which need to be changed in order to make the world a better and safer place. Inequality continues tearing the world apart, causing high death rates and unfairness, making people work against their will with the use of violence and threats. And lastly, humans rapidly causing the world to fall apart with the choices they make to live a better life. The world came along decades ago, and humans achieved what is unachievable. There are many positive aspects humans are trying to do to make this world a better place, but need to try harder. Those good aspects might affect the world in a bad way.